My wife and I have a running joke about ChatGPT, and essentially ChatGPT has convinced me I am the smartest human ever of all time. Everything I say is right, and I can never be debated. And here's how that's going to hurt you. Podcast Growth Nation, today for episode number 179, ChatGPT is sabotaging you. There's one really, really big way that it is, and this is based on a conversation / feedback we got from the Next Level Podcast Accelerator. So I'm going to keep everybody anonymous. I want to make sure we respect people's anonymity. That's a really hard word. Somebody sent a video in the WhatsApp group. So we have a WhatsApp group for every group that we have. And they said that one of the big things that has surprised me about going through this group is your continued suggestion that most people charge way too much and to charge less. And she said, I've had the most sales calls, and I've gotten the most clients I've ever gotten in the last month or so because of this. And it has relieved so much pressure off of my shoulders because I don't feel like I have to charge high ticket for everything I do. And it has helped me become way more successful. One thought before we get into ChatGPT: sustainability. Here's the truth. Pricing has to be sustainable for both ends. It has to be sustainable for you as the provider, but it also has to be sustainable for the person who is purchasing it. A lot of us get stuck on, well, I want to make sure it's sustainable for me, and I'm just going to say, I want to charge $5,000. That's sustainable for me. You might get a client for $5,000, but I'm willing to bet you probably won't get a bunch. Now, if you only need $5,000 a month to grow the business, then okay. But again, getting a $5,000 a month client is really hard. I have gotten hundreds and hundreds of clients over the last 9 years. I can tell you with certainty that, oh my goodness, less than 1% of the clients we have gotten have been more than $5,000 a month. Less than 1%. So maybe out of those 70, it's been, that's technically a lie. I'll say less than 10%. Because out of the 70, that means 7 people would have been $5,000 or more. It's lower than that. So less than 10%, but probably more than 5. But again, been doing this for a long time, right? So obviously the more successful you get, the more successful the people are that you work with. So that's a whole thing. Okay. Here is where ChatGPT is sabotaging you. If you go on ChatGPT and you ask, how much should I charge for this, and this? I guarantee they are going to overprice it. Guaranteed. I did that today as an exercise, okay? I went in and said, this is what we do. We do this, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. How much should that be? And they said it should be $1,997 per month. What I put in is a $497 per month package. So they essentially want me to charge 4 times what I'm charging. That's a good way to go out of business. Now, could we raise our prices? I think we have the credibility and we have the expertise and we have the proof at this point that we know what we're doing. Sure. Should I raise my prices by 4 times? Absolutely freaking not. We would go out of business. So here's what's happening. You ask ChatGPT, what should my prices be? What is ChatGPT? What are they? But what is ChatGPT going to do? It's going to search websites. It's going to search industry standards. It's going to search all of the things that are accessible to it. But here's the thing. Almost nobody actually charges what they have on their website. This is where things get wonky. Okay. I watched a video the other day, and it was about you probably know who Jay Shetty is. It was about his sales team trying to get somebody to sign up for something. And they messaged this person, they DM'd them on Instagram, and they said, hey, we have this thing coming up. We feel like you'd be really good for it. This is how much it is. Let's just say it's $900. It's $997 a month, hypothetically. Is that something you can afford? And the person said, well, this is something I'd love to do, but based on where I am in life, I can't afford that. Sorry. They quote unquote went back and talked to Jay. And again, this is all alleged, and came back and said, oh, you know what? Because you're a really good fit, we could do this for $197 a month. But if you were to look on the site or you were to look at what is advertised, that $997 is what's advertised. So that's what you're getting your prices suggested against. When in reality, there's almost always movement on pricing. Almost always. If you go on, and this is hypothetical, but let's say you go on my website and I say I charge $100,000 for a speech. If you reach out to me and say, hey, we'd love to have you speak, but we don't have a $100,000 budget, and I get down to, well, I do it for $8,000. Yes, my price is $100,000, but that doesn't mean anybody has ever paid me to speak that. It's what a lot of people are doing is they're anchoring you high. They're anchoring you very, very high. So when you go into ChatGPT and you ask what you should charge, it's going to naturally probably give you a number higher than you should charge, because it's going to say, well, you've been doing this for X amount of years. You want to make sure you know your worth, this. At the end of the day, that's not necessarily what the market is going to pay for it. I've looked at people's websites who charge $2,000 a month for what we do. And I'm telling you, most of them are not going to be able to get the amount of clients we have, because the majority of podcasters don't make that kind of money. So it's not sustainable. Look, when I started podcast production, I started at $1,500 a month. I thought that was a good number. The first client I ever worked with had a good amount of money, and they didn't blink at that price. It was $1,500 to launch, and then $1,500 per month after that. And then eventually I realized that was I just got very lucky to work with somebody in the beginning who had a lot of money. And they weren't making any money from their podcast. They were making money from their real job. They had a good amount of money that they could invest into the podcast. But most people, if you're out there right now, imagine we do a call and you say, hey, I'm looking for audio editing and video editing and posting and clips and thumbnails and titles. I just need help with all that. And I come back to you and I say, all right, cool. That's going to be $1,500 per month. That is most likely more than your car payment. That might be more than your rent, depending on when you got your house. That could be more than your mortgage. That's a lot of money. And most people are just not going to be able to afford that. Now, if you're only trying to get one person to work with you, it's a different game. But in reality, the way to get really good at coaching or products and services is to work with a lot of people. So if you only work with 5 people a year, I don't know how good you're really going to get at delivering the value anyway. So this is something that I really wanted to share, because this message we got in group coaching today, and somebody literally said, I asked ChatGPT what to charge, and it says I should be charging, 3, 4, 5x what I'm charging. I know ChatGPT is going to say that. Doesn't mean it's right, though. And a lot of people are going to get stuck, and they're going to get, I don't want to say they're going to fail because of that, but they're going to have to rethink their strategy when that doesn't work.
What's going on, guys? My name is Austin, and I've been working with Kevin for a few months now. If there's one thing that I find super valuable, is his expertise on how to position the podcast to the right audience and fit the content into the overall business plan. And frankly, when we work together, he challenges me a lot. There were some tough conversations that he initiated with me so that I can really grow in the business. Besides the coaching part, the editing team does amazing work with editing and show notes and staying on top of all communications. Overall, my experience working with Kevin has really been top-notch.
The person who shared their success said, all of the business coaches I've ever worked with have convinced me that I have to have a high-ticket product, a high-ticket coaching thing, whatever. Yeah, one of the reasons they do that is because that's what they think they're supposed to do too. And that's just not... We've kind of lost the plot a little bit when it comes to coaching. Because a lot of people think, well, I'm a coach, I should be able to charge whatever I want. Sure, but it doesn't mean people are going to pay whatever you want. I know a bunch of people that charge $5,000 a month for coaching that don't have any clients. It's not about how much you charge, but how many people are you servicing at that price. And those are two very, very different things. Two very, very, very different things. It depends. An airline ticket might be $300 round trip. A private jet's going to be $3,000. Most people aren't going to do the private jet. They can't afford it. But there is a subset of people who can do it, and they can make a business out of that. You just got to figure out where you're trying to get to. And I think the biggest issue is a lot of people that don't have any industry experience are just choosing a price. They're just saying, well, everybody else charges this, I'm going to charge this. You have to figure out what differentiates you from them. And it might be that you're new, so you charge nothing to begin with. I know it sounds crazy. I know we have the fear of, well, if I charge nothing, people are going to think I don't value myself. I'm telling you, add value to their lives, help them solve their problems, do that for long enough, and then say, hey, I can't do this for free anymore. What do you think of blank? It's like the free sample at Costco. It's like the free sample. I don't know what this thing tastes like. Now I know what it tastes like. I like it. I would like to buy some. I just think the likelihood, the probability of success is higher. So that's my thought for today's episode. Just because I know a lot of you, if you start a podcast about fitness, or if you start a podcast about self-improvement, or about money, or about relationships, or whatever, you most likely are going to want to work with your audience at some point. And I'm telling you, there's so many people that are pricing themselves out. There are so many people that are pricing themselves out of helping people. And I don't know if it's ego. I don't know if it's entitlement. I don't know if it's just lack of understanding. In the beginning, for me, I think it was lack of understanding. I didn't understand that the price has to be sustainable both ways. So here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you should do it for free forever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in the beginning, that might be the most sustainable for you and the person you're helping. And then you jump to a new point of, well, I can't sustainably work with 15 people a month for free, but what would be sustainable is if I charge each of them $100 per month, and now I'm making $1,500 per month. It's affordable for them. It's sustainable for me. As I get better, that 100 can go to 150 or whatever it is. And then that's how you do it. But it's really hard to just pick a high price, like $5,000, and then get 5 clients like that if you haven't worked up from a smaller amount. We have a client that pays us $9,000 a month. So we have one client that we get 6 figures a year from. There's no way I could have done what we're doing for them in the beginning. It took 7 years of doing what we're doing in order to get to a place where I actually understand enough to add value. So the goal is I want them to make way more money than they're paying us based on what we're doing for them. But if I just started out and everybody that wanted to work with me, it's $9,000 and this is what we do, this wouldn't even be a thing. I wouldn't even be talking to you right now. So that's my thesis in today's episode. So just be careful. The joke I made at the beginning, and again, I love ChatGPT. I use it so much to help me raise my awareness about certain situations. So when I was buying a new car, I did a ton of research in ChatGPT, and it helped me save a boatload of money based on understanding the numbers and how many people want to buy the car I'm trying to buy and how many there are and how long it's been on the dealership floor, all of that stuff. Super, super helpful. Super. But anytime I go in and say, hey, how accurate am I with this? So many times it's like, Kev, you are spot on. I'm not always spot on. I don't know a lot of stuff, for sure. So it can delude you into thinking your way is always the right way. And it can give you a way that isn't necessarily the right way, but it makes you feel good. You know what feels really good? Somebody saying, yeah, oh my God, you've been doing this for 3 years? You should be charging $500 an hour. That feels really good. Really, really, really good. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're going to get. It doesn't necessarily mean that. And I think that's an important thing. I am never going to be the guy who tells you should only do high ticket. I don't know if I'll ever be the guy that tells you should do high ticket, because I've seen almost nobody win with that unless they're really good networkers. / unless they're willing to play the perception game. So I had a client in the past who had 10 clients per month. Each client paid them $10,000, so they had a $1.2 million per year business, but they were just networkers. They just had conversations with people. They paid to be in Forbes magazine. They paid to get articles written about them. They're playing the perception game. I don't want you to do that. It's not real. I want you to actually have a community. I want you to actually have influence. I want you to actually be creating momentum and a movement from your podcast. And the way to do it is to talk to real people in the real world. So that's my final countdown here, my final rallying cry for today's episode. All right, if you need help with pricing, I will have my link below in the description of the show notes, and we can hop on a free 30-minute podcast breakthrough session, and I will help you come up with your pricing. And I will be honest with you, I won't say brutally honest because that suggests it will be negative, but I will tell you what other people I'm working with are charging. I will tell you how they're doing. I will tell you where they've gone wrong. My goal for you at the end of that call will be to leave with some proper pricing. So we'll have that in the show notes below. And if you're looking for a group of amazing humans who are also focused on growing their podcast and scaling their podcast and helping more people, we have a private Facebook group called Podcast Growth Nation. We'll have the link in the show notes below for that as well. I hope you're actually making momentum in the real world and not pretending you're making momentum internally, because it feels good to say you should charge a certain amount, but I would rather you just actually work with people, because that's going to be the thing. And again, this is coming from somebody who has started this whole thing by charging nothing, zero, and then getting up to the part now where my part of the business alone is a multi-six-figure business. But that started with free. Everything was free in the beginning. So I'm not telling you to do anything I wouldn't do myself / I haven't done myself. So I hope for you, you're making real progress in the real world. That's what I always hope for you. Until next week. Oh, also, if you're listening to this on Friday and you celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. Super grateful for each and every one of you. I still can't believe we've done 179 episodes of this. It's insane to me. I've been doing this for like 3 years. Blows my mind. I can't believe it. But I'm super grateful for all of you that have reached out, all of you that have left reviews, all of you that are in Podcast Growth Nation. I appreciate you all so much. I hope you've had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. Spend time with family, all that happy jazz. Super, super grateful for each and every one of you. As always, until next week, keep on crushing it, keep on podcasting, and I will talk to you all then.